Take cover. Your retirement may be at risk. At risk, I tell you. At risk. So I get this email, and I don't read Breitbart anymore. I love John Nolte over there, and I just hate the negativity, the fear mongering. I hate it. I don't read the left. I don't watch Fox News. I don't, none of this. I hate it. I hate it. Breitbart does the same on the right that the left wing does on the left, and I hate it. So I don't read Breitbart. I don't watch Fox News. All those people, I don't. But I'm still somehow on a Breitbart email list, and that's okay. I'll see emails what people are talking about, and then I'll mostly delete them. But anyway, so I got this. Take cover. Your retirement could be facing the perfect storm. It's a special message. So these guys are sponsored. So they paid for a Breitbart to send this to their readers. A recession is near. Are you prepared? Learn how to protect your retirement with gold and silver. Oh, I can't take it. I can't take it. So we're going to read this, and a recession is here if you look at the actual definition of recession. So the fact they're saying it's near is silly. But anyway, wages of American workers can't keep pace with the increasing rise of inflation. The Fed cannot raise interest rates high enough to combat the high inflation rate. All right, so the minute I hear that, I know we're dealing with clowns because, again, as I said 1,000 times a Sunday, if you think the raising of interest rates is what whipped inflation now in the 1980s, you don't know what's sorry. It wasn't Paul Volcker that did it, man. It was deregulation starting with Carter. Actually, it probably started a little bit with Nixon, but still, Nixon was a big government. He's all Keynesians now, is what Nixon said. But there was a little bit of deregulation under Nixon. But Carter and Kennedy, they really enhanced deregulation. And, of course, Reagan came along and secured that. But it wasn't Paul Volcker raising interest rates. I know everyone thinks it was. It wasn't. And I simply say, well, why did Paul Volcker suddenly was able to beat inflation in 1982 when he was president of the New York Fed? He was literally president of the New York Fed before he became the Federal Reserve chairman. And they were raising interest rates like freaking drunken sailors back in the late 70s that did nothing. Remember, the Federal Reserve, the president of the Fed, of the New York Fed, is one who's always tasked, Pablo, to become the chairman of the Fed. So they weren't raising interest. Oh, yeah, they were raising interest rates under then. And that didn't beat inflation? No. And then when Volcker became the chairman, I think in 78, they were raising interest rates like drunken sailors. It didn't whip inflation. Oh, but suddenly it did. The whole thing is such a freaking facade. It actually drives me up the wall. All right, so anyway, the fact that they say this again is silly. The cost of goods and credit can force businesses to lay off workers by the thousands. Well, the cost of electricity and energy as a whole can do that for sure, but I don't dispute that. The buying power of the U.S. dollar is getting weaker. I chuckle at this. Really? The buying power of the U.S. dollar is getting weaker. Death of the dollar. Protect your retirement with gold and silver. And of course, we have lots of gold and silver to sell you. Well, protecting my retirement with gold and silver, why would you sell me something that's going to protect my retirement? Anyway, so a couple of things here. I want to look, and I said, let's just look into a chart. We're just going to go to gold from January, they spelled it from January 1980 to December 2019, and gold gave us 160% rate of return. 160%. Okay. That's great. So over, what's that, 40 years, you a little bit more than doubled your money in gold. Okay, so let's take a look at something else. So here's a price chart of gold over my life. Remember, gold was repressed. It was illegal to buy and sell gold under FDR and all the way up until Nixon. So for 40 years or something like that, it had an arbitrary ceiling put on the price of gold. And then it was lifted. Anytime you lift price caps, it jumps immediately, and that's exactly what happened. So by 1980, 1980, the price of gold went from 35 an ounce to 1,000 an ounce. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, and you can see from 1980 to now has gone from basically 1,000 an ounce to, what's that, 1,700 right now. All right, that's it, man. That ain't much. That's not keeping up with inflation. Not even close. Not even close. It's embarrassing to say that gold is your antidote to the rising price of goods and the death of the dollar. So I also want to show the death of the dollar. I thought this was pretty interesting because Really, the death of the dollar, huh? Let's take a look. U.S. dollar is now more valuable than the euro. That's it's fantastic. $1 US buys $1 whatever they call pennies in the euro. The US dollar is more. I cannot stress enough how insane this is. The US dollar is more valuable than the euro. I don't know if that's ever happened before, frankly. I don't know. Other than right here, and that was in 2000, I think the euro finally solidified in the late 1990s or something like that. But anyway, let's go to all years. I think this is it. Like in 1999, I think the euro is official. Other than right the initial run of the euro in 2000, the U.S. has been trading below the euro for the last 20 years. And now look at that, baby. The U.S. So that's definitely not the death of the dollar. Thus, the U.S. dollar is buying a hell of a lot more goods internationally than we ever had before. Again, this whole death of the dollar thing is so freaking stupid. But they'll say, but Josh, the price of the goods have gone up in the United States. Yeah, and gold is certainly... Gold isn't the alternative to that dollar. I mean, gold is actually down. What was it? Right now it's at 1900, I think. Let's go to JM Bullion. I can't remember what the price of gold is now. JM Bullion, yeah, right there. JMBullion.com. I think it's at 1700 or something like that. Isn't that what? Yeah. Let's see. Where's JM? Yeah, right here. Let's see what the price of gold is. I think it's like 1754. 1708. 1708, man. I mean, so gold has dropped 10% in the last, I don't know, couple of months or so. Again, I want to look at the dollar. Hold on a second. There's a dollar versus Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin was going to solve our fiat currency. Bitcoin's down to 18,774. I mean, I'll take the dollar any day of the week over that. And then we got let's go to, I don't know, Canadian. What's the Canadian called? 1 second. Canadian dollar getting smoked by the U.S. I mean, I've done this video 1,000 times a Sunday, and it's the same thing. It's freaking, we're kicking ass here, the dog. Pablo. Let's go to Chinese. Whoa. I bet the Chinese get. Yeah, look at that, dude. Chinese. Okay, 1 second. No. The Chinese dollar is getting smoked. I imagine the British pound is probably doing okay just because they got the new stupid prime minister who is dumb. But let's see if we got the UK. 1 second. Finn. BR. All right, let me go down here. I think it's great. There's a Great Britain pound. Look at that, man. I mean, it costs $1.14 to buy 1 pound sterling. But if you look at the 5-year chart, I mean, you can see it's like troops falling from $1.41 in 2021 to now. So it's gone down, what's that, 24 cents or something like that? You know, that's a 12-13% decline in the pound versus the dollar. And it's gonna get worse as the winter comes in. Let's go to the max. Yeah, so we're trading at the lowest. Look at that. The dollar's trading the highest it's been for the last 10 years. This whole thing is just stupid, man. I'm so sick of this. Well, actually, I want to see what dog coin. Remember, what's that guy named Musk? Doggy coin or something like that? Do they even have it in here? Doggy coin? I can't. Nah, they don't. What's the other? Ethereum? I don't really follow the crypto. Let's see Ethereum. I don't follow that much. I find it stupid, but let's see here. 1 Ethereum to US dollar. I have no clue what the I have no idea what that's trade. I don't know, but I don't know what that means. Anyway, the whole thing is funny to me. The dollar's collapsing. Oh my goodness, go to gold and silver. That's not yours. Actually, what is silver doing? I haven't looked at silver. Silver's down to $26 an ounce. Off the high, I think it hit 31 at some point, 29, something, I don't know. Anyway, that's not to say don't buy gold and silver. Just stop with a freaking fear mongering that these things are going to rescue you. No, the only thing that can rescue the convenience of the modern world is cheap energy prices. None of this other stuff matters, and it's going to come because the governments aren't that stupid. But anyway, all right, love your thoughts. We'll see you. Stop panicking. Doesn't make sense.